Deep in the climate-controlled vaults of Yale University's Voynich Rare Book and Manuscript Library lies an object that defies every logical explanation. It's catalogued as MS-408, but you probably know it by its more famous name, the Voynich Manuscript. At first glance, it looks like some kind of medieval encyclopedia filled with elegant, flowing script and hundreds of hand-drawn illustrations. But the second you look closer, things get weird. The plants in its pages don't match any known species on Earth. The celestial charts map constellations that have never appeared in our night sky, and the script itself, a beautiful but baffling collection of glyphs, is written in a language that no one in over a century of trying has ever been able to read. This is a 600-year-old book that by all accounts shouldn't exist. For a century, it has stumped everyone who's tried to unlock its secrets. From the world's best cryptographers during World War II to the most advanced artificial intelligence of our time. It's a story about a book that promises a secret it refuses to tell, and the chilling possibility that its message may be lost to us forever. What could possibly be written in these pages that required such an unbreakable code? A forgotten history, a dangerous alchemical formula, or something else entirely? The physical book is deceptively small, roughly 9 by 6 inches. Its vellum pages made from calfskin are remarkably well preserved. There are about 240 pages today, but gaps in the numbering show the original book was even larger, its secrets more numerous. Some pages aren't simple sheets, but elaborate foldouts, which open up to reveal immense, complex diagrams. One famous foldout, the Rosette's page, shows 9 interconnected medallions filled with drawings of what look like castles or celestial bodies, all linked by a network of pathways. It feels like a map, but a map of a place that doesn't exist, or maybe a place we just don't recognize. The entire manuscript is handwritten from left to right in a script now known as Voynichese. It's an alphabet of 20 to 30 unique characters. Some look a little like Latin letters or numbers, while others are completely alien. The text flows so naturally, you can tell the scribe was fluent and comfortable. In fact, statistical analysis confirms the text isn't random gibberish. It follows established linguistic patterns, like Zipf's law, which describes word frequency in natural languages. The words in the Voynich manuscript follow this rule, suggesting it is a genuinely structured language. But what language? That's the question that has haunted generations. And then there are the illustrations, crudely colored with pigments that were common in medieval Europe. These drawings are the only reason we can divide the book into sections. First is the herbal section, with over 100 drawings of different plants. Here's the catch: not a single one is definitively identifiable. They are botanical impossibilities. Some have the roots of one plant, the leaves of another, and the flowers of a third. They look like chimeras born from a dream, or maybe a nightmare. Are they plants from the New World, drawn decades before Columbus set sail? Or are they species now lost to time? Next, the astronomical and astrological section is filled with circular diagrams, suns and moons with human faces, and charts of stars arranged in unfamiliar constellations. We can see zodiac symbols, but they're twisted into strange new forms. It seems to be a map of the heavens, but not our heavens. Perhaps the most bizarre part is the biological or balneological section. These pages are filled with drawings of small, naked women, usually in pools or elaborate networks of interconnected tubes. The women, sometimes wearing crowns, seem to be part of some communal bathing or ritual, submerged in a strange green-blue liquid. The pipes therein sometimes even resemble bodily organs. Are we looking at a manual on gynecology, a treatise on hydrotherapy, or a depiction of a spiritual ritual? Nobody knows. Then come the pharmaceutical pages, with drawings of apothecary jars and labeled plant parts, looking like recipes. And finally, there are pages filled with nothing but that impenetrable text, organized into neat paragraphs, as if daring you to find a key that simply isn't there. In 2009, a team at the University of Arizona subjected samples of the manuscript's vellum to radiocarbon dating. The results were a bombshell. They proved with over 95% probability that the calfskin for the pages was prepared sometime between 1404 and 1438. This placed the book's creation firmly in the early 15th century Italian Renaissance. This single fact shattered the long-held suspicion that it was a modern forgery by its namesake, Wilfrid Voynich. While the vellum is authentically old, the ink has never been successfully dated. Still, creating a fake of this complexity on genuine antique parchment hand fooling statisticians centuries later would have been a monumental, almost impossible task. The book was real, it was old, and that just made it even more mysterious. You'd think a book with no readable words would have a pretty boring history. You'd be wrong. Its journey is a trail of breadcrumbs left by a succession of obsessed owners. The earliest known chapter of its story lands us in the court of the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolf II in Prague in the late 16th century. Rudolf was obsessed with the occult, alchemy, and collecting mysterious objects. According to a letter written decades later, the emperor bought the manuscript for the astonishing price of 600 gold ducats, a fortune at the time. He was told it was the lost work of Roger Bacon, a 13th century friar rumored to have dabbled in forbidden knowledge. That theory has since been disproven by the carbon dating, but it added to the book's mystique for centuries. After Rudolph's death, the manuscript passed to his personal physician and then to an obscure Prague alchemist named Georg Barisch. Barisch was the first owner we have solid proof of, and he was completely consumed by the book. He couldn't read a word of it, but he was convinced it held some great secret. In the 1630s, he heard about a Jesuit scholar in Rome, Athanasius Kircher, a man famous for claiming he'd deciphered Egyptian hieroglyphs. Barisch sent letters to Kircher begging for help, but Kircher seemed uninterested. When Barisch died, the book went to his friend, Jan Marek Marcy. In 1665 or 1666, Marcy sent the manuscript itself to Kircher in Rome. Tucked inside was a letter explaining the book's history, including the story of Rudolph's 600 ducats. He ended with a plea. This book was left to me by a close friend, persuaded as I am that it can be read by none if not by you. And then the book vanished. After arriving at the Jesuit university where Kircher worked, it disappeared from the historical record for over 200 years. It seems Kircher failed to decipher it, just like everyone else. The book was likely filed away in the library, a forgotten puzzle. It didn't re-emerge until 1912. the Jesuits, needing money, discreetly decided to sell some of their collection. A Polish-American rare book dealer named Wilfred Voynich was invited to inspect the books. There, he found it, the small, strange codex. He immediately recognized how bizarre and valuable it was and purchased it. From then on, it would be known as the Voynich Manuscript. Voynich became as obsessed as his predecessors. After his death in 1930, the manuscript passed to his widow, Ethel. Upon Ethel's death, she left her interest in the manuscript to a friend, Anne Nill. It was Nill who, in 1961, sold the manuscript to another book dealer, H.P. Krauss. After failing to find a buyer himself, Krauss generously donated it to Yale University's Beinecke Library in 1969, where it has remained ever since. So let's take a closer look at what's actually inside this thing. To turn the digital pages of MS-408 is to step into a mind that operated on a logic completely alien to our own. The first half of the book is the herbal section. Each page features a single plant with the mysterious text flowing around it. But these aren't your typical medieval herbs. One page shows a plant with roots that look like braided rope and a flower that resembles a cluster of eyeballs. Another's root system is a perfect green cube. Experts in historical botany have been driven to distraction. Are they stylized versions of real plants? Or are they composite illustrations, combining parts of different species to represent a complex recipe? From there, the manuscript launches us into the cosmos. The astronomical and astrological section is dominated by intricate circular diagrams. Some are clearly zodiacs, but with strange variations, often surrounded by rings of nude figures holding stars. Suns and moons are drawn with human faces, their expressions unsettling. One spectacular foldout reveals a sprawling map of celestial bodies, but it doesn't align with any known star chart from any period. It seems the author wasn't recording the sky above, but perhaps a metaphysical realm or a unique lost theory of the universe. And then we arrive at the most enigmatic section of all, the balneological pages. Here, the pages are crowded with dozens of small, nude female figures, almost always shown inside an elaborate system of pools and tubes, bathed in a strange green-blue fluid. These aren't simple bathing scenes. The structures they inhabit are bizarre, sometimes resembling anatomical diagrams of organs. What are we witnessing? One compelling theory suggests the book is about sex and procreation, with these illustrations depicting women's secrets related to conception in a coded, symbolic way to avoid religious censure. Others see an alchemical process where the human body is the vessel for a great transformation. The scenes are at once clinical and dreamlike. The final sections are more direct but no less confusing. The pharmaceutical section showcases what appear to be ingredients, with drawings of plant parts next to apothecary-style jars. Finally, the manuscript ends with dense pages of pure text, broken only by small, star-like bullet points. This is likely where the core secrets lie, but without a key, it's just a silent, beautiful wall of text. The story of the Voynich Manuscript is also the story of the brilliant minds it has broken. It's a siren's call to the world's greatest codebreakers, a puzzle that has weathered every intellectual storm thrown at it. The modern era of decryption attempts began with Voynich himself. One of the first sensational solutions came from William Newbold, a professor who claimed the real message was in microscopic markings within the letters. His decipherment made fantastic claims, like the author, Roger Bacon, having used a telescope centuries before its invention. It was later proven that the markings were just cracks in the old ink. Newbold had seen patterns in random noise. The manuscript naturally attracted professional cryptographers. During the Cold War, it became an obsession for William Friedman, the legendary head of the U.S. Army's Signal Intelligence Service. He and his wife, Elizabeth, had broken Japan's purple cipher in World War II. Surely they could solve a medieval puzzle. But after years of applying every technique they knew, even Friedman had to admit defeat. He concluded it was likely an artificial language, not a code hiding another language. This meant there was no simple key. Then came the computers. Researchers have used AI to perform statistical analyses far beyond human ability. In one study from the University of Alberta, AI was used to analyze the text. The program suggested the underlying language might be ancient Hebrew that had been scrambled using complex anagrams. It even produced a potential translation for one sentence. She made recommendations to the priest, man of the house, and me and people. It was a tantalizing clue, but the method has not produced a consistent, meaningful translation for the rest of the manuscript, and the theory remains highly contested and unproven. Countless other claims have surfaced and faded. Every year, new theories emerge, some using AI, others proposing complex keys. They might produce a few plausible-sounding sentences, but no one has ever managed to translate a full page in a way that is repeatable and widely accepted. The manuscript is a graveyard of failed theories. The Voynich Manuscript is more than a book, it's a mirror. What we see in its pages often reflects our own ideas about knowledge, secrets, and the unknown. Is it a medical text holding lost remedies, an alchemical formula for eternal life? Or is it the most elaborate and beautiful hoax in history, designed to ensnare the curious for centuries? The failure of so many experts, even with advanced AI, tells us just how profound this mystery really is. So, I have to ask you, looking at the evidence, what do you think the Voynich Manuscript is? Share your own theories and ideas in the comments below. I'd love to read what you think is hiding in these pages. So, the Voynich Manuscript, Beinecke MS 408, continues to rest securely at Yale, its 600-year-old pages holding their silence. It's one of the most studied and least understood artifacts in the world Electrum mystery in book form. We know when it was made, we know where it's been, but the meaning remains utterly lost. Is it a cipher more sophisticated than anything from its time? Is it a lost natural language for which we have no Rosetta Stone? Or is it an artificial language, a project of staggering effort and imagination? Some scholars lean towards it being a magnificent, meaningless hoax, designed to scam a wealthy patron like Emperor Rudolph II. But even that theory has problems. The linguistic complexity and sheer labor involved seem to go far beyond what would be needed for a simple fraud. The Voynich Manuscript represents a unique kind of locked knowledge. It's a message whose key has been lost so completely that it might as well have never existed. It's a chilling reminder that knowledge is fragile and that entire worlds of thought can vanish, leaving behind only a beautiful, baffling ghost. Perhaps one day, new technology or a moment of sheer genius will finally unlock the door. But it is equally possible, and maybe more poetic, that the Voynich Manuscript will remain what it has always been, a perfect enigma, a book that wasn't meant for us to read.